All right.
Oh yeah, so Tulsi Gabbard would be the person. Yeah, man, she's awesome. I like her. I like her. Some people have issues with her policy on India. I'm not in India. I'm not with that policy.
I'm in America, so that's fine with
Right,
me. You
right.
can do what you
So
want in
that
India.
policy, I understand. I'm in America. Um, I like her. I like her. I actually like her. Look, she had the courage to go out this thing for the war thing. Hell, she even had the courage in the beginning to deal with Donald Trump on. It was something she was working with him on. And again, the Democrats hated her guts for it. How dare you work with this guy? This
Yeah.
guy's a monster. How can you work with this guy? She's awesome. She has my vote.
All right. I guess kind of to wrap things up, last couple questions. Turns out Google is aligning themselves with the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and they're going to flag hate speech on YouTube and violent or hate videos on YouTube. What are your thoughts on that?
I just did a video saying Google was a monopolistic fascist organization that needs to be broken up. Literally, like a day or so ago. There's that's problematic, man. Like you have right off the bat, you have 6 media companies that control everything that you see for the most part. These conglomerate companies. And you ask the question: do you believe that those companies are going to put out information that's against their self-interest? So you have a media company, that particular company, that person who owns that company, or whatever that organization or corporation has multiple other companies. The story that you get is not going to be a story that's going to adversely affect their profits. That doesn't make sense. The internet is the wild frontier in a sense, meaning the information you get from the internet, yes, you're going to get crazies, you're going to get wackos, but you're also going to get actual data, actual information, actual content. What's hate speech? It's slippery, and it's uncomfortable for this idea that they kill that. Do you believe that people are going to be less hateful because you try to get rid of hate speech off the internet?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't like where this goes. I don't like this idea that Google makes the choice on what you yourself want to see and what you want to pull up. So Google is all of a sudden the arbiter of what's considered safe or allowable speech, allowable content. That's problematic. Yeah.
It's tough for me too because as a libertarian, I mean, they are a private company, so in my mind, they should be able to do what they want. But at the same time, I can see where you're coming from, and then also, since my videos, I guess, really aren't left-leaning specific,
You're going to be considered hate speech.
they're going to be targeting me.
That
you
private
know?
company.
Yeah, that private company's going to be screwing me over. It's just going to be like,
I love this. It's like, as a libertarian, I believe in a free market, meaning that particular private enterprise can do whatever it wants, but that private enterprise is shutting me down.
yeah. It sucks, but I guess we'll see what happens. I know that the ADL they view Pepe the Frog as hate speech or white symbolism, and I don't know whether you agree with that or not. I don't agree with that. I mean, they even said that.
What do you mean, like the Confederate flag or something like
No,
that?
there's a frog people have. It's like it's called Pepe the Frog. Praise Kike. I don't know if you ever heard those slogans. Well, anyways, you should look it up. But they say that showing a picture of a frog represents white nationalism and it's hate speech, which is insane.
I don't know what a frog has to do with hate speech. Well, I mean, if anybody can come up with any kind of logo to represent anything. I'm uncomfortable with the slippery slope. I'm immensely uncomfortable with that slippery slope. I don't think that should be Google's domain. That's all. I think they need to. If you're going to say we're a search engine and we're opening the internet so you can get and view information, when the next person comes in, where does that person draw the line in regards to hate speech? If I'm saying something negative about somebody that they want to protect, is what I'm saying all of a sudden hate speech, and they're keeping me off. Hard Bastard, he made a video, I think it was about like the Young Turks or something like that. They took him. That's insane.
Yep.
Like, that's immensely insane.
But same thing happened to Steven Crowder too.
Just making certain. I don't like to making decisions, man. I may completely disagree. I've seen one of Crowder video where I was like, that guy's not going to enough passion. But it's like, what the hell am I watching? But he shouldn't be taken off.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't want them making that choice. I don't want the company, like you said, it's a private enterprise. I don't want that particular company making that choice. When they have that large of a market share in regards to people who are watching it, looking at the internet, you Google it. There's even a word for it. Google does go through this thing of creating a search engine or changing their search engine optimizations to hide or show certain things. I don't like that.
Well,
I don't like that.
there seems to be like a YouTube allegiance towards the Young Turks. Like for instance, I'm not a sub at anyone in the Young Turks, yet I keep on getting recommended for you Young Turks and stuff like this. And their videos, I mean, they can swear, they can say the F word, yet they're still able to monetize. But Crowder, for instance, he doesn't swear usually on his, and he still gets demonetized. So there is just that notion that since they represent a different viewpoint that aligns with the left ideology, they're safe from hate speech because it's people on the right who are actually guilty of hate speech and violence.
It's okay. Let's dig into that for a moment. You'd agree with me that there are people on the right that are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it's not like this is completely uncommon. I mean, you're going to find people who are just outright flaming Nazis. Like it's not. So let's bake that into the cake. Let's say there's a percentage. But everybody who's saying something that's not necessarily on the left doesn't necessarily mean it's hate speech. So I would agree with you on that. Like it's not just because it's something you don't like doesn't necessarily mean it's hateful. It's just something that you don't particularly like. I've said it before, man. I'm somewhat of a free speech extremist on this stuff, and extremist may be the wrong word because I don't want people to get the wrong impression.
Yeah.
Like, don't scream fire in a crowded building. I don't want people being outright belligerent. When you're dealing with them, I want them to be civil. So I do think there's a realm of political correctness. I do think there's I don't think it's all political correctness is bad. So let's bake that into the cake. But that is it Google's job to make that choice. Like, so if you and I are interacting with one another, yeah, I think people should remain civil. I think I don't think you need to be losing your shit in public. But as your own channel or on your own page or whatever else, people can find you, man. I don't necessarily think it's fair for Google to make that choice. That's all. I think I'm uncomfortable with these things changing how can I say this? I'm saying this wrong. I'm uncomfortable with them doing algorithms that's getting rid of certain information because they themselves are uncomfortable with the information.
Exactly.
I guess that's what I'm saying.
No, exactly.
That's such a slippery slope. That's an amazing slippery slope. Stephen Greer is a UFO guy. He can be full of himself. They took his videos down. Now, that's an amazing thing. Like, even though they may say this guy's kind of out there, this guy's kind of loony, Stephen Greer is one military person after the next coming down, so he's not completely off the reservation. But even if he was, should they take his videos down?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like it's uncomfortable that they're making these decisions on who they want to take down, who they want to show, who they want to play up,
Based on their own personal perception of what is right and wrong,
right?
Morally and ethically.
Exactly, right. Let the public make the choice on what they want. You're gonna have some videos that bubble to the top just because the public is interested. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm uncomfortable with that idea. I mean, and mind you, a lot of the stuff came from this Russian hacking narrative, which is manic. Like, if you remember the whole Facebook thing, Facebook is going to make a determination to do something about fake news.
Yeah. Who decides what is fake
Who
news?
decides?
Yeah.
They put Truthdig. Truthdig is not fake news. Robert Shear is an amazing journalist. They put him on the fake news list. That's it was like one thing after the next where you're looking at it, you're like, that's not fake news. That guy has been in the industry for God knows how long. He's a standard reporter. You just don't necessarily like what the guy's saying. Anything that's attacking the establishment, being on the left or the right, gets this label to some degree of fake news.
Yeah.
The Seth Rich story was quote-unquote fake news. The idea that the DNC was hacked was fake. I mean, this leaked was fake news. None of those things are fake news.
Yeah.
None of them. And the Russian hacking narrative, which was fake news, that was played up for like 8 months, is now falling apart. I'm curious on whether or not they're going to come out and say, you know what, we were wrong about the Russian hacking.
Oh, I doubt it.
I doubt it.
You know, I mean, this is kind of, I guess, out there, but what scares me, it's like, if this keeps on, it keeps getting worse, we are actually devolving into 1984 by George Orwell. I don't know if you ever read that or not, The Thought Police.
Yeah.
I mean, we are literally devolving into that type of category, and it scares me because that type of category only leads to the destroying of your rights, lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
You know, it destroys your rights and liberties as a natural right, or as a person in the U.S. You are losing your liberties based on what somebody else believes is morally acceptable.
No, that's true. And keep in mind, even the liberty thing, right now your liberties are somewhat constrained. I mean, just as people, like, yes, you can choose Coke or Pepsi, but the larger decisions that you're talking about, we have, 5% of the world's population with 25% of the people's in our prisons. It's hard for a nation to talk about freedom when you have that many people in prison. You have a justice system that looks to lock up people. It's like we're gonna put people in cages and warehouse those people. This idea of freedom is an amazing thing. That to put it, you know what I mean? It's like freedom and liberty, and this is the thing that this is our banner that we go by. We have all these people in prisons. Um, yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's 1984, man. This thing of we're shaping your reality. We're shaping the information that's true and accurate. We're shaping your worldview based upon the things that we want you to see, not necessarily things that are out there. Yeah, that's disturbing to say. And look, media does it to some degree anyway. Like when you're looking at mainstream media coming out saying completely on board for war. They have weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. We got to do something about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Saddam Hussein can drop a mushroom cloud on us. And it's this war drum constantly over and over and over and over again. They're not critical. They don't necessarily dig into what the government has or the motives of the government. They just go with it.
And the
That's
Patriot Act.
1984.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then came the Patriot Act. You know, Ben Franklin said it best. Those who
You.
sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. There's a certain amount of bravery that's associated with this idea of trying to exist in a society, a open society in that sense. Yeah, man, it's disturbing. It's like mainstream media already does it. The last thing I want is Google that does it. Do it. And it's like, do you trust Facebook and Google to shape your worldview?
Yeah, no.
No, I don't. I don't.
All right, I guess to kind of leads to my last question here. So, I mean, we have the majority of the prison population, and the majority of that is caused by marijuana, criminal
Drug laws.
offenses. So, what do you hope to see? I mean, what is your ideal world in America, politically speaking? Like, do you believe we should have, uh, I guess, how am I trying to say here?
Drug laws?
Yeah, is there drug
I
laws
don't.
or?
I don't think we should have drug laws. I don't think they work. I would have no drug laws. And the reason that people always like, whoa, what do you mean no drug laws? I don't know anybody who gets up in the morning and says, hey, I'm going to smoke some crack. You know what I mean? I don't know anybody who says I want to do that. I don't think those things work. I think you end up in this thing, this prohibition era thing where people create these black markets. If people want something, those people are going to try to get those things.
Well,
That's
that's
just part.
crazy. Spain and Portugal both decriminalized drugs in their country, and they saw ODs go down, they saw
Go
crime go
down.
down, obviously crime go down, and they
Yeah,
also saw deaths go down. I mean, it actually made the country statistically healthier and safer than it was before.
I agree. I mean, we're literally putting people in cages. Think about that. Like, you're taking a human being and putting that human being in a cage
For
because that
smoking a
person decided.
plant.
Yeah. I mean, think of the reality of that. Like, that's an amazing thing to say. We're going to lock this person in a cage because that person decided to smoke pot. That person decided to smoke crack. If you want to deal with drug issues, deal with it from an economic standpoint. I don't think people just do that stuff willy-nilly. Usually there's some kind of hardship or something that's going on that pushes that person to that. You coming up with a law that says I'm going to put them in prison for doing it, it's not going to stop them from doing it. If anything, you're making their life harder. It doesn't work, man. My society, like I said, man, there's probably a lot that I agree with libertarians on
Yeah.
and the idea of freedom. I think my biggest difference with the libertarians is probably the size of government, in the sense of I think government should be arranged in a way where you're trying to free people up. Meaning, when a person gets up in the morning, they decide to do what they want to do, not because they're compelled to do it because their needs are not met. Meaning, if you have technology, let technology be the bulwark in that society to get the majority of things done. And look, whether you agree with me or not, that's the way society is going to go. The majority of the jobs will be done by automation at some point. All of these taxi drivers are going to lose their jobs. All of these guys who are carrying things are going to lose their jobs. All of these people who are doing flipping hamburgers are going to lose their jobs. So
So
that,
then, you believe a bigger government in the aspect of a social safety net for those
yes,
due to future
exactly.
job loss?
I do. It's this thing of accepting this idea that at some point automation is going to take over. It just is. It's cheaper to do. As technology goes, technology is not necessarily going to go backwards. Meaning, put it this way: if I'm trying to get somebody to work for $15 an hour at a burger place, I may say, "Oh man, it's cheaper for me to put in a robot." So I'm going to put in a stall that allows this robot to flip this hamburger and give it to this person when they choose what they want. I'm firing that worker to do so because it's now cheaper for me to do that. I'm going to fire the worker who works at 7-Eleven because, again, you walk in the store, your credit card is on file, we automatically charge when you walk out. You find a system, you have a society that's going to go for more and more automation, meaning what are you going to do in that particular society? You're going to need something Otherwise, your system is just going to implode upon itself just based on its own way. You need something. Now, my argument would be, yes, you need government to the degree of having a federal jobs program where, yes, if you want a job, you got a job through the federal government, doing something in your particular community, in your particular society. But I don't have this idea that work is the bee's knees. I think people should be free to live their life in the way they want to live their life. The question is, how do you do that? How do you arrange your society in a way that does that? Well, yeah, technology. I think technology is your outlet, your solution to that. I think you need government big enough just to deal with the issues that are going to come from the technology itself. Meaning, yes, all those people are going to lose their jobs. Those people have to lose their jobs because at some point, you're not going to be driving your car. At some point, it's going to be safer for your car to drive itself. Those taxi drivers are going to lose their job. When I call for my sandwich, that person is going to put the sandwich in their car. It's going to come to my house, and I'm just going to walk out and get my sandwich. How many people do we have as taxi drivers in this country?
Yeah.
In 10, 15 years, when all those people lose their jobs, what are they going to do? Like I understand the libertarian argument of freedom. I'm just making this point that your freedom can't necessarily be at the thing where I got mine and nobody else has theirs. They're going to come and get you. They're going to have pitchforks. They're coming for you. They're going to take your life because they're in lack. You need a system.
Well,
Does it make sense?
I think there's the argument against that, based on a libertarian perspective, is that what government can do, the private sector can do. Like, they can privatize, for instance, Social Security and stuff like that. I think that is the libertarian argument, that government doesn't do anything better than what a corporation do, what a business owner could do. So why should they allow them to have it? And the thing with government, too, is that they always come with pensions. And as we see in Illinois, pensions have actually destroyed that state. So do you continue doing a losing battle that has failed, or do you actually mix things up?
I don't think pensions was the thing that destroyed the state. But just in other point. But to be fair, I don't know enough about the thing in Illinois, so I can't make an opinion on it one way or the other.
I'm just gonna say there's a video I did about I should send you the link. I think you'll like it. It goes over what happened, and a big part of it is pensions and how no one can afford it anymore.
Fair enough.
Go on.
My private sector is working for the idea of profit. Meaning anything that's being done is how much can I get out of this particular thing. It's a purely individualistic process. That's not the government's responsibility. The government's role is not necessarily to accrue as much profit as it can make out of a process. That's not its job. That's not what it tries to do. The government's job is whatever it's doing. Like the profit motive is not part of the process. So it's not really the same. Like it's not, I don't think you have a profitable social security system. How much of that money is going into private enterprise or private profit as opposed to going into the system itself? Meaning, so yeah, you can have Medicare for all with like a 2% overhead, or you can have the healthcare system you have with like a 30% overhead. It's your choice. Yes, private enterprise can do it, but private enterprise is going to have a lot of hands in that pot. That's the, and look, that still doesn't get to this thing of when this process is automated, then what? Like the libertarian argument assumes that there's going to be a job for somebody to take that job. What happens when there's no point in that job? What happens when that job becomes so much cheaper to do with a robot that there's nobody in their right mind that will hire a person to do that particular job? So, yeah, why am I hiring a taxi driver? You realize Uber and Google are in a lawsuit right now, a legal fight. If I'm not mistaken, I need to look this up, but from what I understand, a legal battle. That legal battle is over the technology for automated cars. Now, you already had cars that can travel all across the United States. It's not that taxi driver's fault that he's going to lose his job. It's not the delivery driver's fault that he's going to lose his job. It makes perfect sense as a capitalist that when I can get a system where I can have a car configured to do automated driving, I don't need that guy anymore. Yeah. I don't have to pay that guy's insurance. I don't have to pay that guy's health care. I don't have to pay that guy at all. That car is not going to get sick. It's not going to feel bad some days. It's not going to be blue other days. It's just going to do what it does. You can't fault the capitalist for saying, yeah, I'm going to put in something that's cheaper, whether that's in Burger King, so whether that's in 7-Eleven.
Based on that notion, then, what are your thoughts on the Universal Basic Income, UBI?
I'm not a capitalist. I'm not anything in this front. I'm not anything on this front. I kind of have this, I think government should run from a technological standpoint. Like, if you and I are having a conversation, and it's like, all right, what are we going to do for healthcare? And people are having these ideological decisions on healthcare when a technical choice will be, okay, what's the cheapest way to do it? What's the way we can get the most thing? That's not an ideological choice. That's a technical choice. That's a choice based on information, on science. You can look around the world and say, okay, what's the best system? How can we improve the system? That's not how it works. This stuff works purely along ideological lines. I'm saying, for me, I look at it from the technical standpoint of what's the best option. Now, that gets in the way of ideology. That totally cuts across this ideological divide of, well, this person believes full on that a capitalistic system should be it. I understand a person's belief. I don't care about his belief. I care about how do you accomplish this particular objective. The universal basic income is fine, but this is kind of an FDR thing. This is this thing of FDR saving capitalism. FDR says the best thing that I've done was save capitalism. And that's an amazing thought. He's making this point that, look, capitalism is eating itself. You had this situation where all of this money was accrued at the top. Nobody at the bottom. I don't care how rich Mitt Romney is. Mitt Romney is not buying 300 million cars. The public is. The public needs a certain amount of cash in the bottom in order to make the top function. So the UBI is under this idea of, look, if we're going to have this kind of job loss and everything else, we need to give people cash at the bottom.
A couple things with this, though. First, FDR's socialist policies, though, actually increased the duration of the Great Depression. By raising minimum wage and by doing more government entitlements, they were actually keeping themselves in debt. There was no prosperity for the economy to grow because employers couldn't actually hire anybody due to the high taxes they had. The Roaring Twenties.
No. They didn't.
The Roaring Twenties preceded it, and it was Roaring Twenties because they had low taxes, low government spending, and the economy just boomed overall.
Economy crashed. Yeah,
it crashed right before the Great Depression. It was good until what's his name? Not Calvich Coolidge, but who was after Coolidge?
Crash was the Great Depression. You understand that, right? Like the crash itself was the Great Depression.
But FDR increased the duration of it. It was World War II actually, and the massive production of our military equipment that actually got us out finally.
Yeah, but he didn't increase the duration of the Great Depression. I know what you're saying. You understand that somebody is not. You're not hiring somebody because of your taxes. Like you're a company. You're hiring somebody because you need somebody to do a task. Like FDR raising taxes and so forth. You understand taxes have been high for God knows how long after that. We had an amazing amount of prosperity. You're going from the Great Depression to what? All these other presidents, Truman, LBJ, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These guys had this idea of a great society. Taxes were at 70% up until the point where you got to Reagan. So it wasn't taxes that was screwing things over. It was. We're probably going to go back and forth on this one.
Well, I was going to say, too, because taxes, we probably could talk about this for hours, but I guess I'll change the topic here to about UBI with my second point, but, I mean...
Well, I'm curious, what do you think is a libertarian about the UBI?
That's what I'm going to say, actually.
Look, if it helps public health, then I'm for it. If it's done to keep this system going, oh, man. And then the question becomes how much? Is it I think it's a lot of questions around UBI. I don't think it's a horrible idea. I think it needs to be combined with a federal jobs guarantee. But
here's my opinion on it now. And I actually got flamed for this because people call me a socialist because of this. Because I actually agree with the UBI, but I think we should do it as a replacement to entitlements. You can still have Medicare, you can still have that social safety net in terms of health, but by having entitlements and a UBI, you're essentially just creating the redistribution of wealth, which I am against. But if you just do a UBI, no entitlements, people then actually have to spend their money wisely because they don't get food stamps. They don't get these type of benefits. So in that regard, then, they actually have to decide what is best for them to survive. So you're giving them the personal choice to dictate their life yet because they're actually just getting money instead of like a food stamp or instead of SNAP decision, So to that regard, I think people will actually spend their money more wisely. At the same time, you're still helping the poor and a needy class.
I guess my question becomes like, how much is the UBI going to be? Those type of questions.
That one I have no idea. People have to.
Yeah, I don't know how much you're talking about, I'm curious. It would have to be like how much and all this other stuff. I kind of have this idea that I kind of go with the Sarah Palin idea. Like Sarah Palin in Alaska, she said the resources of Alaska belong to the people of Alaska. Meaning, yes, I'm going to take some of the oil revenue and give back to the people of Alaska because, you're the people of Alaska. You shouldn't get to rape the resources of a particular state without giving some back to the people of that state. You have many of these countries that are dirt. I mean, of these states that are dirt poor, like West Virginia, Joe Manchin state. They have coal. They had coal industry for God knows how long. The people of that state got nothing for the coal in that state. The coal was owned by the people of the state of West Virginia. They didn't get anything for it. I'd argue that the entire country goes under that model. All the resources of the country, however those things are mined, however those things are pulled and everything else, yeah, the resources of that should go to some degree to the people of the country itself. Meaning, if you're going to give anything back as a UBI, it's like, A, how do you pay for it? How do you make the argument for it? You can make the argument on moral grounds. You can make the argument on public health grounds. You can make the argument on, look, we need to keep this to keep the economy going grounds because people are going to be technologically unemployed. However you make those arguments, I guess the question is how much is going to be. How much is going to be? I think that's the question. I think that's going to be the question that what people. Because is it enough to live off? This is going to be like Nixon. Nixon wanted this idea of reverse income tax, where everyone gets at least a certain amount. Being you're trying to go with this idea of let's get rid of poverty. Democrats scream about poverty for 50, 60 years and haven't done squat about it. Do something about it. Be real about it. And UBI is one of those ways they're trying to tackle it directly. The question is how much.
So then what are your thoughts then, instead of UBI, the Zeitgeist movement? Have you heard of the Zeitgeist movement?
Yes.
It's a market-based, but no currency. Yeah, no currency.
The resource-based economy. Yeah, Jack Fresco. I love the idea. It's one part. It's one part that I'm like, oh man, I don't know how you do that one. This idea of a technological society, I love it. Get rid of cash. You don't need it. You get rid of corruption. You get rid of crime, poverty, all this other stuff. Heinous jobs. Who cleans the nuclear reactor?
Exactly. That's my main thing. I mean, people aren't going to want to have the shitty jobs. People just want to. But the argument is, people work basically for their survival. But at the same time, the fact is there are lazy people in the world, and I just don't know if really people are going to adapt.
It's like, what's the count of the lazy people? Like, 70%,
yeah, right. I just feel that it's gonna.
The reason why I think it would work, it's a new way of thinking. Like any system persists itself. You're encased in your society. You know what I mean? You're encased in the ideas and everything else in the ideology of your particular society. If you lived in that society would seem natural as natural can be. The question, I think you need some incentive, something, but that incentive shouldn't necessarily be on your frailties. Like it shouldn't be, if you don't do this, you're not going to eat, you're not going to be able to have somewhere to live and everything else. It's the vulgar incentive of the capitalist model that I chafe against. And it's the shitty jobs, man. It's like who's doing the shitty jobs? And is a person just going to say, okay, well, yeah, I don't need cash to do this really shitty job? That's my edge. I would love to. I'm trying to find somebody to bring them on the show to have that conversation. I would love to have that talk. That's the part I want to dig into. How do you make that work? I understand your idea. I understand what you're trying to get at. I even agree with what you're trying to accomplish. Who does the shitty jobs? What's an incentive? It seems like you need some incentive in your society. I just don't know what that incentive is to prod them, to say, all right, we're prodding you into this thing. I don't care if there's a faction of the society that says, okay, I don't know what I want to do, and I want to veg up. How many of those people do you have in your society? That's the catch. How do you phase out?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest problems with it, too, is that it's untested. So, I mean, it could completely fail, and we could actually see millions of people die, actually, starvation, other things. So,
we already have it now.
What's that?
We have that now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's when I hear people, like, raise this thing with capitalism, the United States is 5% of the world's population. The overwhelming majority of the world's population is in desperate poverty. Like $10 a day or something like that is the overwhelming majority. We're already seeing that. Like, we're already seeing the billionaires stepping over the homeless guy. We're already seeing people starving.
I think that's caused, though, not by capitalism, but by corporatism. We are actually a corporatist nation now. Corporations I see you smiling there. We are no longer capitalistic. We do crony capitalism. We do favors. Government works with corporations to get their money all they want. We would actually go back to a free capitalistic society. Things would get a lot better.
That's like saying the kid grew up. Like it's still the same guy. Like for instance, let's go with the incentive structure. I, as an individual, have this idea of I need to maximize my profit. In maximizing this idea of maximizing our profit, I'm also in this idea of scarcity, meaning there is a situation where I may not have enough to make my ends meet. So I need to do what I need to do to make my ends meet. Now, from a higher level, when you're talking about this kind of corporate thing, it makes sense that they do that. Like it's one of those things of, yes, you have this smaller company, but you want to accrue more just as a person, just as in your particular game space. In my game space, my job is to maximize my profit. I need to do better than my opponents. I have an idea. I'm going to reach into the political apparatus, because if I can reach into the political apparatus, I can buy a politician. Now, you may say that that's crony capitalism, but come on, man. That at the very least, you can see how the incentives will push people to behave in that particular way. Like it's
Yeah.
not there's a disincentive for it. The incentive is, how do I maximize my profit? I'm in a situation, I'm in a game space that says maximize my profit is the goal. How do I do it? If I can buy a politician, now you may say that's a flaw of the political apparatus, that the political apparatus shouldn't allow those people to be bought in that way. Fair enough, but it's there. Like that's
I think it all comes back then to the dark money in politics.
even
That
though
even
politics. I mean, like you can look at open secrets, and it's like thousands and thousands. Obama getting $1 billion wasn't behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so when he gets in office and he protects Wall Street, it's like, hey, did you getting all that money have anything to do with you protecting Wall Street when you got in office? No, oh no, 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 it has nothing to do with it at all. Nothing, zero to do. Come on, it's like that's open, like that's completely open to the public. It's not as if we're in a situation where the public doesn't know these people are being bribed. This corruption is open. Like, even if you can't see the money, you know those people are taking money for a certain thing. Look at the drug companies.
Well,
Both sides.
that's kind of my point then with that. I mean, that's basically corporatism there. What if you actually took the Sherman Antitrust Act and put it on essentially every corporation there is and break those corporations down so there isn't that collusion between politician and corporation? Then you could still have that same economic modality of capitalism, but without all the, I guess, crony aspects of it, the
You
collusion.
think like schoolboy capitalism. This thing of capitalism without the corporation.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
I think that would, yeah, yeah. I think that would, I
I'm,
think it's a good
I feel
example.
you. I just feel like it's like the difference between a child and an adult. Like in the sense of the capitalistic thing. It's like capitalism grew up. And when it grew up, it became a monster. It started reaching into other political spheres like, hey, let's write some trade deals. Let's maximize our profits more. I just don't know how, when it always come to that. When you always end up in a situation where these guys are still doing the same thing. It just seems like it's a natural growth path. If your goal is, I need to maximize my profit, I need to get as much as possible, then your first question becomes, how do I do that? I can do that by doing X. Even under the schoolboy capitalism thing, how do you get to the point where you break up these guys? Because look, whether you're talking about Zeitgeist, whether you're talking about Jack Fresco, the Venus Project, all of these things require an amazing change in the way we do business. Amazing change. Like it's not a minor change. It's a complete revolution in the way government behaves. Even if you're talking about schoolboy capitalism, meaning breaking those corporations up. How do you do it? Like how do you make that case? How do you get government to change in that way? Because that's a revolutionary change in your society.
And I think that's actually one of the most dangerous parts of it too, because like we said earlier, I mean, if you do it and it fails, I mean, you're basically screwed. But at the same
Yeah,
time, things are kind of failing now. But
they're failing out.
but to that regard, I mean, I just in my mind, I'm really anti-Federal Reserve. I'm
Yeah,
really central bank, and
agreed.
I think we actually get rid of the central bank, and
Agreed.
right away, our economy would be a lot better just right off the bat. And that's why I'm a big fan of Andrew Jackson, actually, because he destroyed the central bank. The central bank, I mean, they use for currency, all our money is created through debt, through
Yeah,
fractional reserve lending. So
yeah.
people lend it out, they increase the money supply, and
It's a
that's
Ponzi
why,
scheme.
yeah, I mean, inflation happens, and inflation actually hurts the lower class the most because they have less money to begin with. And
Yeah,
inflation causes their dollar to devalue more. The rich are okay, they have enough money. Their dollar devalues, whatever, I have more. But the poor people, they have trouble then.
yeah, yeah. I don't like the Federal Reserve. I don't like. I think it's a weird, ridiculous idea.
Well, this
If
channel's
the
a,
federal
yeah,
government can
really
create
anti.
money, it's like, why are you going through this other edifice in order to do something that you yourself have the
Yeah,
responsibility of doing? You can even make an argument on whether or not it's even legal
yeah.
for them to do that. I mean, the
Supreme
government
Court
itself has,
ruled Supreme Court ruled it was unconstitutional in the
yeah,
1800s, but then they changed it again. I think John Marshall changed it to constitutional. But at the same time, it's called the progressive income tax, was ruled unconstitutional in the late 1890s. So, at the same, but now I don't think people can actually imagine living without it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I like to be in this project for this particular reason. I mean, it's like we're literally creating money out of debt, and there's more debt than there is money.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, how do you? You have a bill that you can never pay off because there's no money in it. Now, but that being said, the government itself makes its own money. So worse from the worst, the $1 trillion. I had an interview with I can't think of the gentleman's name. We was talking about the $1 trillion coin that the president has the capacity to make a coin that's for $1 trillion or $100 trillion. Now he's not going to spend that coin, and that's it. But this was amazing, like the powers that they have, these schemes and all this other stuff. The Federal Reserve is ridiculous. I have to be honest, it's absolutely ridiculous. Who passed it? Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
Woodrow Wilson saying, at the moment after he did it, he's like, yeah, I betrayed this country. This was a horrible idea. And we're going to be ruled by a bunch of men and all this other stuff. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, too.
Like I said, this channel, I have quite a few different Federal Reserve videos. I'm really anti-Federal Reserve, but...
I agree.
I guess, yeah, I mean, we'll probably call it here. This was a really good conversation. It was nice.
I enjoyed it, man.
It was nice going back and forth.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I bring people on for interviews, and I like to dig into their perspectives on that stuff. And so having somebody who's, like, on the other side of it. And the funny part is, I don't consider a libertarian to be on the other side. A lot of my views people would come across as being libertarian. It's funny, I've heard across this term, what is it, socialist libertarian, which sounds so funny to me. It sounds hilarious to me. But look, there's people out there who call themselves socialist libertarians. I don't consider myself anything per se. Like I said, I have this idea of this kind of technical solution of what do you want to accomplish? How do you accomplish it? That's it. It's like I don't care about the ideologies. I don't care about any of that stuff. What do you want to do and how do you accomplish it? I understand people taking on particular ideologies. I'm a capitalist. I'm a socialist. I'm a whatever. What do you want to accomplish, man? Your society can be arranged in any way you want your society to be arranged. Yeah. It boils down to what are the consequences? What are the things you're willing to accept?
And by doing that, too, you essentially put yourself just in a category, which leads back to the tribal partisanship mentality.
Yeah. I don't want to have any tribal parts. Ultimately, it boils down what do you want to accomplish. It's your world. Your world can be anything you want. It literally, and that's the hardest thing to get across to people. Your world can be whatever you want your world to be. Your society can be whatever you want your society to be. What are the consequences of doing it? That's it. That's all that matters. Ideologies, I don't care about. I don't care about the ideologies. Right. And look, that puts me in a weird position. Like, that's an odd position to be in, where you're like, yeah, I don't care about your ideologies. I don't care if it's capitalist, socialist. There are going to be things I agree with, things I disagree.
Well, that's how it should be. I mean, the founding fathers actually didn't want political parties. They were against it. And now people can't imagine living without a political affiliation.
You're right. They can't. I mean, regardless of the country, all of these places are parties. It's amazing.
All right, YouTube, Jamarl Thomas. His link to his channel will be in the description. Thank you again for coming on. It was a good talk.
No, dude, this was awesome, man. I had a good time.
All right. I will talk to you later then.